As I was looking through all the stories, I was trying to think like how they're shared or how they're similar experiences, but they offer similar experiences, but they also offer different ones around the idea of story. And so I think there's kind of three categories as far as I kind of understand it right now. But one is that, am I telling a story as an entire visitor experience? Is that the frame for the entire visit or time that someone's spending? So an example, very well known, is the permanent exhibition at the Holocaust Museum in DC. It's a very linear narrative exhibition. I mean, it gets multilinear in the middle, and then it kind of has this very diffuse ending that kind of actually suggests the story is not over. But the beginning is a very theatrical. You have this like intense threshold of moving up an elevator from the first floor to the fourth. It's literally transporting you into like a different frame of mind. And so, that's the frame for the whole experience. So that's what I mean about category one. So with category one, if you know a story is your frame, then you do need to have laid out this larger narrative arc for where it begins and where it's going to end, even if you know the sequence of how people are going to encounter the events in the middle are going to be different. But you kind of need to know what does my story mean in relation to this larger narrative thing. Who are the characters? And then what are the constituent events? I'll explain that again if you don't remember from last time. These are the events that if they're not included in the story, you're telling a different story. And here quickly. So like we recognize Cinderella stories because these things happen within them. Cinderella always loses her mom. She always has an evil stepmom of some variation. She meets some dude, something bad happens, and then at the end, happily ever after. So these things make a Cinderella story, but you can also have supplementary events. And this is why the Disney version, the animated, is different from the Disney live version, which is different from all the other Cinderella stories that have been told. These are, so these elements like Cinderella sings, or from the original, that the stepsisters actually cut off their heels trying to fit into the shoes, the glass shoe. These change how you understand the characters and kind of the meaning of the story, whether you can see Cinderella as a feminist narrative or supporting patriarchy. Like these are the supplementary events matter. And I mentioned that because you can look at maybe you might think, oh, well, the constituent are important or more important than supplementary, but that's not really true to the experience of the story. The supplementary are actually kind of helping your audience get to the reactions that you want them to. So in terms of this, a frame for experience, kind of, again, thinking about how you lay out a larger narrative arc, you kind of want to know what are the events I absolutely have to share, and then how can you add narrativity to that experience by these maybe supplementary events.